American Top 40.
I'm Charlie Van Dyke, sitting in for Kasem this week on AT40. There are 6 new songs in the countdown this week. The first of them is also the first chart single for a group based in Berkeley, California, the Greg Kihn Band. Debuting at number 39, the Greg Kihn Band with a breakup song.
With the nation's 21 hottest hits to go, you're listening to American Top 40. I'm Kasem, and the countdown continues. Well, now we're up to the song by the man who broke a record established by the legendary Rolling Stones. In London, there's a famous rock club called the Marquee. Well, back in 1964, during the heyday of the Beatles, the Rolling Stones appeared at the Marquee. And at the finish of their set, their ecstatic audience cheered and applauded them back for a record-setting 6 encores. In the years that followed, nobody topped the Stones. That is, until 1978, when an American rock musician completely unknown and uncharted in the United States played the Marquee one night with his band. His name? Greg Kihn. And the event was witnessed and reported by Joel Selvin of the San Francisco Chronicle. Well, the Greg Kihn Band gave such a show that night that the audience brought them back for a 6th and then 7th record-breaking encore. Greg Kihn was unknown in his native land, but he was big in Britain. Big enough to break a long-standing record established by the Rolling Stones. Well, Greg is starting to be appreciated in his own country now. He's in the countdown with his very first American hit. Now, on with our countdown to the 40 biggest hits in the USA. I'm Kasem, this is American Top 40, and we're on our way to the most popular song in the nation. Well, now we're up to the hit song by the Greg Kihn Band. Now, Greg spells his last name Kihn, and his producer and record company president, Matthew King Kaufman, has a fondness for puns, so he's taken advantage of Greg's last name and come up with some wacky album titles, like Next of Kin, Rock-Kin Roll, Continued, and the group's latest LP, Kinspiracy. Can you believe it? Their latest hit climbs 3 notches to number 9 this week, Jeopardy by the Greg Kihn Band.
American Top 40.
The numbers get smaller, but the hits get bigger. This next song is by a band whose leader says he has 2 big loves in his life, rock and roll and baseball. His rock group's home base is Berkeley, California, but his favorite baseball team is in his hometown. They're the Baltimore Orioles. And his current hit looks like a triple as it slides into number 3 this week. Here's Greg Kihn and the Greg Kihn Band with Jeopardy!
Casey's Top 40.
I'm David Perry for Kasem on Casey's Top 40.
Where were you?
Now, whatever became of the rocker, critics declared the next big thing when he hit with a song called Jeopardy back in 1983? Whatever became of Greg Kihn? Well, he says he crashed, then he crashed again. Few of the critics who raved about the music of the Greg Kihn Band back in the early 80s would have imagined that Greg would turn out to be a one-hit wonder, but for the most part, that's exactly what happened. Back then, Rolling Stone magazine went so far as to refer to Greg Kihn as a cross between Buddy Holly and Bruce Springsteen, and the magazine predicted he'd be bigger than either of them. So what happened? Well, after the top 10 success of his song Jeopardy in 1983, nothing very good happened at all. First, Greg's band broke up. Then as a solo act, he managed a few small hits, and then no hits at all. Greg says most of his problems were personal. Quote, I got divorced, went crazy, had a drug problem, went broke, the band broke up. Man, it was a bummer, unquote. But after pretty much hitting bottom, Greg Kihn has been slowly rebuilding himself. He's a writer these days with a pair of horror novels just about to be published. The first of them is called Song of the Banshee. Greg has reformed a band and recently put out his 15th album. And to support it, they're going out on tour. Greg says it only took a short time to fall, but it takes a long, long time to pull yourself back. And that's our update on Bay Area rocker Greg Kihn. Now, on with the survey.
Casey's Top 40.